Ladies and gents, welcome to another video here on the EGL channel, and today we're going with two videos on FIFA this week. We've of course got our Bundesliga rewards coming on Thursday, and I know many of you will kind of be waiting before you pull the trigger on some of these fantastic SBCs that the Bundesliga has brought to the table. Getting your rewards will kind of make building some of these guys into it, but the idea behind this video was of course the squad builder for Wamangituka and Tapsoba. Both very, very good cards in their own right and look terrifying, actually, Tapsoba specifically. But the problem with them is that, of course, they're Bundesliga, so you can just get those Bundesliga yellow links. But if you're one of these guys who likes to build hybrids around it, then maybe it's a little bit more difficult to build them in. It was the same for me. And we'll go through my team towards the back end of it. But let's jump into some teams and see how we're going to work it around in a second. Firstly, let's have a look at Tapsoba, though, because he does actually have some useful strong links, of course, to use and maybe try and get him in there somehow. But we do have a specific method of how we've done this on this video. And this isn't necessarily a one to build teams around it. It's to give you a good idea of how you're going to strong link these guys in the best formations to then maybe make some other players go in and around it in an easy way. That's pretty much how I've tried to make these teams as best as I can. As mentioned, we'll show you mine towards the end as well, because, you know, a lot of you will have good La Liga rewards, a lot of you will have good Premier League rewards. That's kind of the direction I'm going with the squads, to try and lean there. I haven't went too heavy with Bundesliga outside of the cheap squads where I built around them, but obviously you can then mix that up with your rewards that do come on Thursday. But obviously this is more so just to focus on getting Tapsoba and or Wamangituka in your team. So Tapsoba, he does have those strong links. This Amiri card looks really, really good. Also team of the season and Bailey in there. If you did either of the benders, then of course they strong link to him as well, which is very, very nice. Especially if you did the right back, of course, going in there, and that's a hellish centre-back parent, of course. Wendell in there is really obviously a good one too. If you are really struggling, Hradecki is there. However, he is extinct currently at 37.5k. So he might get his price range updated, but he might not. I'd imagine that'll tail off maybe next week, and I think he'll be a lot easier to get a hold of. But until then, I've kind of tried to keep him out of it for the most part. I think I've got him in one of the teams, but we'll not try and concentrate on that too much. Let's go to the links that he does have, though. Leon Bailey coming in at 150k. Very, very good card. 4-star, 4-star. Low-high work rate, so he really is a very attacking-based player. The 99 pace with 98 in, acceleration, 99 sprint speed. The dribbling's fantastic. The composure's maybe a little bit low, but the shot power, long shots, position, and finishing, all really, really good. Not necessarily massive passer in the grand scheme of things, but he's a good winger. I mean, what do people put on him? Probably a marksman. Yeah, there you go. Put a marksman on him, that bumps up that finishing, it bumps up that dribbling. He's kind of cracked. I know one of my mates who usually finishes elite, he loved him when he did use him. 4-star, 4-star, very, very good card. This is the interesting one, and I'm in the middle of completing him anyway. I've seen plenty of the reviews coming out for him. Let's just take the chemistry style off for now. But centre mid Nadim Amiri. At first I seen this card and I was kind of like, okay, well, we're not too bothered about it. But then Tapsoba came out and I was like, okay, well, let's have a look at it. The 5-star skills caught me off guard a little bit. Does he actually have it on his main card? He doesn't. So they've upgraded it to a 5-star skills just for team of the season. 88 pace, 86 shooting, 91 passing, already good. 95 dribbling is fantastic. And some decent physical and defensive stats to look at as well. Very, very good centre mid card. And you can kind of go one of two ways about him. If you need him to be more defensive, you go Shadow, and then all of a sudden you've got 98 interceptions. 83 defensive awareness is okay. Standing tackle of 92, sliding tackle 82, very, very good. Anchor is something you could go as well. Keeps that 99 acceleration, but the sprint speed not quite as high as you would want it. Bumps that strength right up if you really need a bully in the middle. But then a lot of people actually were going to go with a hunter as well. Now, I'm actually curious to what basic looks like, actually. So that +5 onto the sprint speed to give it to 86, because that is actually really low as an 81. You'll feel really nice on the ball when you're moving around with them, but in terms of making those long busting runs, it's not necessarily going to be there without that sprint speed. The basic actually doesn't look too bad. It kind of boosts everything up a little bit, but I like the hunter on him, to be honest with you. Those defensive stats are kind of okay that he's going to get in the way a little bit. He's going to have that physicality. The aggression's not quite there, so you might not have it there. And of course, with the medium defensive work rates, it's not necessarily fantastic. But as an attacking CM, he'll be very, very good. Of course, the dribbling, the passing, the shooting, the pace is all there for him, and he is free. This is squad battles as well. So, I mean, you want to build around him. He's fantastic. I'll be doing him. He's going to be going into my squad. Let's quickly talk about Wamangituka coming in at 193k. The 5-star skills, the upgraded 3-star weak foot. Medium's not ideal, but the pace is what you're talking about. The agility is what you're talking about. The dribbling is what you're talking about. With the shot power finishing, it looks absolutely ridiculous. Marksman's what everybody has went on to it, and it's insane. It's absolutely insane. Bumps that ball control and the reactions up. The balance is at 88, so it's fine. The composure is the only thing that really lets him down that little bit. But it bumps that finishing, it bumps that shot power, it bumps those long shots. Penalties at 99 as well, why not? But the strength at 99 is another big thing for him. He's a very good card. I've completed him, 193k. I know a lot of people are very, very interested to see how this Wamangituka does. Anyway, let's move into it. We've got some basic ones to wrap your head around a little bit as well. This is kind of just a very standard Bundesliga squad, but look at the price, and bearing in mind I have actually taken the price of these two guys off, so it's another 700k on top of them. Bearing in mind you don't have to pay for a Miri, and realistically you could actually mix up. If you didn't want Angelino, you could grind through and get a hold of, I've completely forgot who they've got in the left back position as the objective player. It was, of course, it was Ruslan, which makes a lot more sense. If you want to do Ruslan, he's very easy to do, and he would save you some coins if you're all about that grind. Klosterman, this card, by the way, is only coming in at 115k. It was 110 last night because I looked it on potentially for my team. Still with that 87 pace, it's the acceleration that maybe lets him down a little bit, but of course you do whack the shadow on, and then I mean it's nearly as good as coming in on Tapsoba, of course. Interceptions, jumping is all there. I mean, look, it's a very, very good card. What was that going at one point? It was like, what, 600k, bearing in mind how like cheap the Bundesliga was for what it is. It's a very, very good card, and this is not going to do you wrong in any stretch of the imagination. It's a very basic squad, but we kind of went with 3 midfielders with the 4-1, like in a 4-1-2-1-2 or a 4-3-2-1, that kind of thing. Hwang Yi-chan, Wamangituka, and Costa up front will be very, very interesting. Of course, Hwang with a 5-star weak foot, Costa and Wamangituka with a 5-star skills. You've got Amiri with a 5-star skills, and Sabater and Nkunku will really do the business in the middle. Sabater looks a really, really nice card for the cost that he comes in at 141k. How much is Nkunku now? I'm curious. He'll be very, very similar as well, I can imagine. 130k for the two, and these two strong links. So, well, that's like nearly 300k. But a really, really good central mid pairing who can kind of do it all. Baku going in there with Tapsoba. And that's it. Look, there's nothing crazy link-wise. This is just kind of what I would go with if you're a relatively cheap team. If you're looking at in the Bundesliga and you want to get them all on full chem, you don't want to hybrid it, I think this is a really nice one. Let's move on to the more hybridy ones. Now, this is the formation I would be trying to use if I wanted Tapsoba in my team. If you want him on full chem, this is kind of the way to go. 3-5-2 is not a bad shout because you can get this little link between Bailey, Amiri, and Tapsoba. Now, Bailey, of course, coming 153k and Amiri in for free. Immediately, that's costing you a little bit. But I kind of built a team around it to just... Not necessarily, I'm not saying that you look at this team and this is what you do. It's a good example of a team and it will be a very nice team, I think. But at the same time, it kind of gives you that point of, look, they've got the 3 strong links between them. The only one that suffers is Amiri. And you could probably combat that with a Cruz if you really wanted to. But at the same time, you don't need to give him that soft link. There is players in that league that will soft link to Amiri. And I mean, let's quickly have a look at them. So in La Liga, it is the Cruz of the ter Stegen. I don't see how you're getting ter Stegen up into that position to help him out. Of course, you could drop Amiri into centre-back, and maybe, but then you're kind of playing around with it. If you do have that Tony Cruz, though, there's a soft link there. Let's have a look at Premier League now as well. So as far as Premier League goes, you actually do have some good players. You do, of course, have Gundogan in there as well. I mean, I'm not going to go into Timo Werner or anything like that, but you can kind of start linking Gundogan into there. And then, of course, he's City as well, so it makes some of the strong links from the team of the season really, really nice. So, look, if you want Amiri on full chem, you can get rid of one of these guys that's in here, put Gundogan in and turn this into a Premier League team so easily. Again, this one is just an example, but the 3-5-2 is what I would go to if you do want Tapsoba to be sorted into your team. And another way that I've actually done it is my team. I'll show you mine, of course. I got super lucky with with some of my polls, actually. Ronaldo, if any of you guys have been watching the channel for a while, know that I got him in a 86+ when he first came out. I think it was the week that Ronaldo specifically came out. I think it was like 3 or 4 million at the time. So that was a crazy pull. But this is more so about how you can fit them in a different way as well. Tapsoba's only on 8 chem here. I think that's fine. I think, look, let's have a quick look at it. On an 8 chem, I mean, a lot of people are going to use a shadow on him just for that acceleration, which is what makes sense. And with that, he's still at 92 acceleration, 99 sprint speed, with still ridiculous defensive stats coming in. So, I mean, comparatively, look, people will say, oh, well, is he as quick as Diaz, etc.? He's quicker, obviously. He does have that little pace bonus over a player like Diaz. Even with that 8-cam possibility, he's still very, very good. And then, of course, we're coming in there, and I've never used this Kyle Walker card before, but we went with it. We're going to go with the combination of centre-back Kyle Walker and Tapsoba, with Cancelo at right-back and Jordi Alba, who was untradeable. De Jong, who was untradeable. I actually got him on my Twitch Prime pack, which was just blew my mind. It's the best pack look I've had in quite some time. Coutinho in there, Dalglish, Amiri in there, but this is the link really, isn't it? It's the Amiri Tapsoba link. But then they just close off the gap for Wamangituka in at right wing back, and then we get him on 7-chem, which is still more than enough. These players will be fantastic even on this chem. It's still 100 chemistry in the squad. It's just another nice way you can kind of think of them. I think it definitely helps having an icon, and I know the majority of you watching this will have that. But it just helps with those links. That means Amiri does get that 10-cam because he has that extra little link in there. If you had an icon in one of these, maybe an icon centre-back or an icon full-back or an icon midfielder, striker, anyone gives him that yellow link to then boost that up. And then we got one more kind of look at how we would set it up in a different way. I said we didn't have much for Hideki in here. We don't, but just to give him the full chem in this one, just for a laugh, I think this is a nice French Bundesliga hybrid. Fekir and Nkunku in the middle with Sabitzer, Saint-Maximin, Dembele. A very, very attacking team. So you got your 4 attacking players with Dembele, Fekir, Saint-Maximin, and Wamangituka, and then Nkunku and Sabitzer in the middle will be interesting. Lacroix at centre-back is disgusting. I mean, if you didn't want to pay the money for Lacroix, you could start in Babu there, and then, of course, move another one to the right-back, like a Lazaro or somebody like that. That would save you a lot of money, but again, these squads are costing a lot. This team of the season, you're talking about red picks. You're talking about having all the coins to put into these players. I think, Wamangituka coming in 180k, you take that off, it's closer to 2 million. You take off then Tapsoba, it's closer to 1.7 million. These cards, they didn't cost me anything. So we're thinking about squads outside of the box in a sense, and I think this is probably my favorite one out of the lot. I really, really like that. I like the look of this Dembele. I love Saint-Maximin as a Newcastle fan, and I think it was just any excuse to kind of get him in at 161k blows my mind. But there's a few different examples. There's the 2.2 million, but if you take these away, it's more like 1.7. There's the 1.7, and then if you take Tapsoba out of that one, it's coming in, the 1.8, it's more or less coming in at like 1.5. Especially with the way that you could mix it up with a lot of these players. You could start that as a 3-back, actually, in fairness. Swap out Jordi Alba, put him there, and then, of course, just have there's loads of different ways you can do it. I'm not going to speak to you guys like you're stupid. There's the French one, of course. There's my squad, how I've done it. And then we had the cheap one in there as well, which looks interesting too. But there's so many different ways that you can link these guys fairly easily into your team. As recommended is the 3-5-2 to try and squeeze them in there, or possibly the 5-3-2 if you want the links for the right wing back to that side as well. It does kind of work out in that sense. Again, if you wanted the strong links for Tapsoba and Amiri and you didn't want to do Wamangituka, you put Bailey in there and they're all on 10-cam anyway. So there's so many different ways to work it, but it's that little cluster of 3 that you want to try and strong link them in there. But anyway, if you did enjoy the video, please leave a like, comment below if you are going to be using any of these squads. If you're just waiting for your rewards, it's probably the best thing to do. I full sent on it, kind of hoping there's a Goretzka in there to mix things up, and I'm sure I'll figure out some way how to sort it all out. But anyway, if you did enjoy the video, as mentioned, please do give a like, subscribe if you have not. We'll see you for the next video.